ואם כל הדס יסוד ישגו ונעלם דבר מעיני הקהל. Klal Yisrael makes a mistake based on the instruction of the Beit Din. The Beit Din said something which was wrong. They said something is allowed even though it's not. The Beit Din have to bring a korban. But the Gemara in Masechet Soyos says, only if the Beit Din uprooted one detail of a mitzvah, they have to bring a korban. If they uprooted an entire mitzvah, they're exempt from bringing the sacrifice. The Gemara explains. If the Beit Din says there is no such thing as Shabbos in the world, there's no such thing as Avodah Zorah, they're exempt from a korban. But if they do say, Avodah Zorah is Asur, you're not allowed to have other gods, but you're allowed to bow down to other gods. If they say, there is such a thing as Shabbos in the world, but you're allowed to carry things from one domain to another, from private domain into a public domain, then they have to bring a korban. But seemingly, this should be the reverse. If for one detail of the mitzvah that they conceal, that they said is allowed, even though it wasn't, they have to bring a korban, isn't it how much more so that they will have to bring a sacrifice for uprooting an entire mitzvah? But perhaps we can understand this based on what the Smag says in Lavin Siman Mem. The Smag explains the Gemara in Sanhedrin Samim Daled Amud Beis, where the Gemara discusses Ma'avir Mizaroi Lamoilech. If a person takes his son and his Ma'avir Lamoilech, he gives him over to Avodah Zorah, the father has to be executed in Beit Din. However, if he takes all of his sons, then he's exempt from capital punishment in Beit Din. And again, this would seem to us the reverse. If we're giving over one kid to the Moilech, he has to be put to death. How much more so if he gives an entire family? But the Gemara learns from the word mizaro, from his seed and not his entire seed. Says the Smag, the reason is, as long as he only gave one son over, he is still worthy of an atonement. And killing him in Beit Din is an atonement for him. But when he gives his entire family, he is not worthy of atonement anymore. Based on this, we can understand what the Gemara says here in Hoyos Daf Dalet. If the Beit Din uprooted a detail out of the mitzvah, they're still worthy of kapara, of an atonement. Bringing the sacrifice will be an atonement for them. However, if they uproot an entire mitzvah from the Torah, they're not worthy of an atonement, and therefore they are exempt from bringing the korban. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of them.